Do you think LeBron's going to retire?
Bro, I know he's something else. You know that? And
Yeah.
as a guy that been knowing him for about, almost 25 years, I know that he didn't believe that his damn self, okay? And let me tell you why. Number one, LeBron James loves money too much, and he holds on to it like a conversation. He is so tight when it comes to money. Do you know how much money he will be leaving on the table? I believe it would be over $100 million on the floor. God knows how much off the floor. That's number one.
I think it's 97. Yeah, I think it's like 97 million over the next 2 years. Yeah.
Okay,
Like
and number two, we already know that he gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Well, he loves more attention. There's nowhere in hell LeBron James is leaving without a farewell tour, okay? He's going to announce it. He's going to want the cameras, the arena, and rightfully so. He earned that. Number three, that message was not for us to be bringing up. Well, we could bring it up, but that message was straight delivered to Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss in the front office, to make sure that they get on their job and do everything that they need to do this off season and not wait in February at the trade deadline. And also, he was talking to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. Like, bro, when are you going to get your stuff together? When are you going to get in shape? When are you going to stop being so damn lazy in the offseason? I'm right here. I wake up at 5 every morning. I'm a phone call away. I'll embrace you with open arms. But Anthony Davis has to make sure he get on track and get the right people around him so that he could approach next season where we could be looking at him and saying, well, damn, he actually put in work. There's nowhere in hell, and there's no disrespect to Jokic, that Jokic should have been in better shape than Anthony Davis. So do I think LeBron James will retire? Yeah, about 3 or 4 years from now, but not next year. So, no, I don't believe him.
Well, let me get this out of the way quick. I definitely think that LeBron James is not retiring, number one. But I'm glad you went to Anthony Davis because that's exactly where I was going. You know, certain things annoy me. Well, a lot annoys me.
Yeah, most
But
things.
but not most things, a lot of things. Certainly you never annoy me.
Thanks. That makes me feel good.
See how I make you feel good? That's the way it goes. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make to you is this.
Well, you annoy some people, too.
I live to do that. I mean, I was annoying. I was annoying to my mother all the time. Why? I mean, if I can annoy my own mother, God rest her soul, why wouldn't I annoy everyone else on the planet? It's what I do. But I will tell you this in all seriousness, man. Anthony Davis, I was disgusted at how the narrative shifted to him feeling victimized because people were getting at him. No one got at Anthony Davis about his game. What they got on him about was his availability. Because sometimes Anthony Davis doesn't show up figuratively, as in a game, not playing up to his potential. And other times he don't show up at all because he's hurt, okay? And it drives people crazy because we know what he can do when he shows up to play. Anthony Davis in game 1 against the Denver Nuggets. That is the Anthony Davis we know and have fantasized about for a decade. Even though Jokic was absolutely phenomenal, 36, 21, and 14 in game 1, Anthony Davis wasn't better than him. But you know what he wasn't? A slouch. Because he dropped 40 and 14 that game. Either 40 and 14 or 40 and 10. That's what I'm trying to say. In other words, the Anthony Davis that rises up and responds to any challenge that's thrown in his direction in his quote-unquote department, he will remind you he is that dude. He's formidable too, which is all LeBron James requires. In order for Anthony Davis to do that on a consistent basis, all he has to do, Molly and Perk, is be in shape.
That's it.
That's it. Nothing else.
That's it.
Get on the track, get in the pool, hop on a Peloton, the treadmill. Do what you got to do to build up your cardio. It is clearly a difference between those who get ready and those who stay ready. LeBron James stays ready. Even when he's tired, he doesn't look that tired unless he's hurting. Anthony Davis always looks tired. I set it up on Get Up coming into the show. First week of the season. middle of the season, 3/4 of the season, playoffs, Anthony Davis is breathing the same after the first quarter. It's like it never gets better. His conditioning. And if you are LeBron doing these tonal commercials and all of this other stuff, clearly taking care of his body, clearly in shape, you're 8 years older than Anthony Davis, and you are clearly in better shape. Now, I know some people say, well, you're comparing him to LeBron. No. What I'm saying is that's your teammate. That's your brother. That's the dude that pushed to get you to La-La, where you finally won your first championship. If you owe him nothing else, don't you owe him being in the best shape you can possibly be in and living that way year round? Go on a plant-based diet. Stay off. Are you eating Twizzlers or Skittles or something?
He needs protein.
It needs some protein. Whatever. The point is, do whatever it takes to have yourself in peak condition. That's all we're saying about Anthony Davis. Nothing else. And anything that he tries to say anybody else is saying is a flat-out lie. He just needs to be in better shape.
Yeah, and let me say this. When I look at Nikola Jokic, right, I'm checking him out, and he's first team all WAC body, okay? And when I say all WAC body, it's guys like myself, guys like Paul Pierce, who were playing that could never really get ripped up, but they were in great shape. He's a prime example of that. And there's 3 guys that come to mind that need to actually look at Jokic and find out what the hell he's doing. It's Anthony Davis, it's Joel Embiid, and it's Luka Doncic. Because I think we don't give Jokic enough credit for how in great shape he really is. And if I'm those 3 guys, I'm not asking you to go be LeBron James and spend $2 billion on your body, but you can find out what the hell Jokic is doing.
Stephen A., will the Celtics become the first team to climb out of an 0-3 hole and win? Seriously, I feel like there's a shot.
In all seriousness, I'm going to say no because I'm assuming Miami will win tomorrow. I believe that Boston would win Game 7 if they force a Game 7. I can't express enough how much love and admiration I got for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, especially Tatum. The brother is something special. He truly, truly is. And I don't bet. I'm not betting against them in a Game 7, even though they've lost a host of home games. They've lost 5 or more home games in consecutive postseasons. I mean, this is unbelievable, but it's what they've done. Yet and still, they find a way to win when it counts because they're like 7-1, 5-1 in Game 7s rather, with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on the team. I'm not counting. You look at them and how they perform at home for the most part. Miami could go to Game 7 and beat them in Boston if you're taking into account Boston's recent history in the postseason on their home court. But I'm still not going to pick Miami to beat them in the Game 7. I think Miami's shot is tomorrow night. I'm going to predict that Miami's going to win that game because if they don't, I believe the Boston Celtics are going to be the first team in NBA history to come back from an 0-3 deficit and win a series.
Well, way to straddle the fence. I get it. You answered one question and then you went on to talk about a Game 7. Nobody want to hear that. This is First Take.
Thank you.
I picked Miami to win Game 7.
Perk, tell us the rules of the show. He hasn't been here in a while. He forgot.
The question is, the question that Molly asks, will the Celtics win the series? And the answer is hell no. And the reason is that they dug themselves in the 0-3 hole, and now they having to fight back. I don't see them beating the Miami Heat 4 times, okay? And here's the problem that I have with the Boston Celtics. I believe that Jason Tatum is a superstar. I believe that Jaylen Brown is a star. But the problem I have with them is that Jason Tatum goes to his post-game interview and he's like, everybody counting us out. Well, duh. We wasn't the reason. We're not the reason that you down 3-2. We wasn't the reason that you was down 0-3. What we supposed to say? Good job? Keep up the good work? No, that's not how it happens.
All right, Bernie Mac. Go ahead.
What? So what? You like that, though, huh? You did like that. I know you did.
You're doing a good job.
Right.
Keep up the good work.
But what I'm saying is this. I believe that I kept saying this, and I said this last series because I thought Philadelphia was going to close them out in Game 6, which they should have. The Celtics play around with fire too much. And just like the old people used to tell us when we were young, boy, don't touch that oven. You're going to get burnt. All of a sudden, they're going to get burnt. And I believe this is the time. The Heat is going to win this series. I think the Celtics dug themselves in too deep of a hole. I applaud them a little bit for fighting and keeping this series alive and winning 2 games, but it's nowhere in hell the Miami Heat are losing 4 games in a row. No way.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So to be clear, you're both
I'm picking Miami to win
against-
Game 6.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. Who should Jokic fear more, Tatum and the Celtics or Butler and the Heat?
I'd say the Celtics. Listen, Robert Williams is a damn good defender. Al Horford, albeit older, very experienced, veteran, starving for a championship. LeBron has ruined many occasions for him to have a shot at the championship. And last year, the Golden State Warriors did it to him. Al Horford is as hungry as they come, but he's older, and obviously both are smaller than Jokic. So Jokic, I anticipate, would have a big series doing what he does and bringing to the table what he brings to the table. But those role players that help Denver along, and I shouldn't call Jamal Murray a role player because I think he's a star in this league, and I believe in that brother. But when you look at the Boston Celtics and their ability to guard, when they prioritize playing defense, they match up very well with Denver as far as I'm concerned, and they can cause a lot of problems on both ends of the court because Denver's going to have a problem dealing with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown if Boston ends up advancing to the NBA Finals. Make no mistake about that. I look at the offense of the Miami Heat. Although they played exceptionally well for most of this postseason, it was an aberration based off of what we saw for the whole regular season when they averaged the league worst 109 points a game. I'm just looking at them and saying, offensively, I don't think they have enough to beat Denver in the NBA Finals. But I damn sure believe Boston has enough. So I would tell you that Boston is the answer to that question.
Kirk, tougher matchup.
Well, first of all, no one is stopping Jokic. I don't give a damn if it's the Celtics or the Heat. I'm leaning more towards the Celtics, but I'm going to say this real quick. We have to quit disrespecting the Heat. And I'm not talking about you, Stephen A., and I'm not talking about you, Molly. And I'm not even talking about this topic. I'm talking about the fact that people were saying and are saying that if the Heat go to the NBA Finals, that it will be a sweep or it will be a gentleman's sweep, meaning the game would end in 5. This Heat team is here for a reason. They knocked off the Milwaukee Bucks. They got past a tough New York Knicks team, and they're on the verge of beating the Boston Celtics. Last time I checked, the Celtics and the Bucks both had the best record in the league for us in the regular season. Those were the top 2 teams. Those were the heavy favorites. Now, you look at the Miami Heat, and again, we're just getting put on notice. They didn't have a lot of household names coming into this series, but they got guys that didn't put the world on notice. A guy like Caleb Martin, who has been a flat-out baller, who I believe that if this series ends tomorrow night, he's going to win the MVP of the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. He's been that spectacular, and I don't see how you can keep it away from him as far as him being consistent. So if I'm the Nuggets, I'm not picking and choosing. I'm just embracing the moment, and I'm getting ready for the NBA Finals because the NBA Finals in itself is a moment that you have to get mentally ready for when it's your first time.
All right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.